Do you think the aliens came from another planet or they're from underwater?
Dude, the underwater thing is nuts. When I first heard that recently, I had never considered that.
Me either.
And now that's all I imagine is just underground civilizations of aliens, dude, off the coast of Mexico. Like
Just watching
that's
us from down deep,
yeah, dude. That's so
shaking their
crazy.
heads.
This episode is brought to you by Smile.io, the loyalty platform trusted by thousands of the fastest growing Shopify Plus businesses to increase repeat purchases, reward VIPs, and build lasting customer relationships. Smile helps businesses become more profitable while discounting their products less. You got to be careful with the discounts. You don't want to push too hard on the discount pedal. If you're ready to turn transactional sales into lifetime customers, start building a more profitable business with Smile.io today.
What is going on?
How's your week going so far? Kicking butt and taking names.
Yeah, baby. Doing stuff, making progress. Good times.
Knocking those items off the old to-do list.
That's like one big item I've been working on lately, trying to get
Oh yeah,
some numbers flowing.
a mega
You know what I
item, the
mean?
NetSuite thing. The
Oh,
NetSuite.
yeah.
Yeah, nice.
It's getting there.
Yeah. Did you end up taking a crack at the AI stuff?
Not yet. I haven't gotten that
To
far. I'm just
oh, okay.
trying to get some like proof of concept numbers to match with some big old SQL queries.
Oh, nice.
And the numbers, they are a matching.
Nice. Got to get the numbers to match up.
The numbers.
Oh, dude, I'm
What about you? How's your
running
week?
low on. Oh, it's pretty good. I'm running low on juice right now. I got to get the juices moving.
Is
I'm
there like
like
a
ready to.
specific kind of juice you prefer?
I'm like running on fumes,
Busy week
but
or what?
I've been working, been busy. Just like I was working on some stuff, and then I was like, okay, I got to get ready for the pod, and then I was like, should I work up until like the last minute? I was like, nah. I was like, I'm gonna be distracted if I try to do that. I'm not gonna get it done anyways. So then I like laid down for a couple minutes, and I don't know if that was a good idea or not,
Mm,
but
it always takes
yeah.
me like 4 to 8 hours to wake up when I take a nap.
Sometimes I can do a nice like I was doing it more often, but sometimes I could just lay down for a hot minute and then get like
A little
reset,
refresher.
get a little refresh, hit a quick F5 on the dome. But but it didn't quite happen that way this time.
Maybe
So
the age is getting to you, or the children. I think
yeah,
it's a little bit of both for me.
I know, man. I know, dude. I'm getting old. Getting old, and then there's going to be a hailstorm tonight, so I gotta move the cars into the garage. I have a whole situation on my hands to move my
Oh
desk
man,
and stuff to.
my my garage is not suitable for storing cars. You have to do that mad scramble sometimes too. It's actually storming here right now. You might hear some thunder.
Oh,
But
is it?
yeah, we always have to like clean up the cardboard boxes and random projects in the middle of the floor to get our cars in.
Right. Do you have a good like notification system for like storms? Like, do you get an app notification or
I'm one of
um,
those people that just kind of lets other people tell them that things are happening with the weather.
right?
I just like to experience
Just
as
in
it
general
comes,
in
you
life,
know?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I that's normally what happens. Like my wife told me this time, but like when if it hails, like I have to get the both of the cars in the garage like quickly. And so I need like a more foolproof method
Mm.
because we've been lucky enough we haven't had any hail destroy our cars yet. But
Well, I also have like my cars have aged enough that I really don't care
yeah. See,
if they have some dents.
that's the way to live life.
I just keep that
Having
car until it dies.
ride it into the ground. But having said that, like you wouldn't. I mean, if the windshield got cracked, I mean, we had some hail
Yeah, I
recently.
guess.
Windshields were cracked in. Like
I guess that's
that's
a
gonna
possibility.
that'll put a cramp in your daily commute.
I say that, but I like at some point one of my cars is going to die, probably the older one, and I really want to get a Rivian. And if I have a Rivian, I will baby that thing for sure
Right. Yeah. Then you'll be stressing.
for at least 6 months, and then I will go back to not caring.
Nice. I am a little uptight about the cars. That's the problem with having like a newer car is I get real uptight, man.
Yeah, but you
'Cause
got a
it doesn't.
Cybertruck going? No, then you wouldn't care.
Oh man, I wish I had one of those bad boys. Well, when it first came out, I was like, really, I was like, I need to get one of those. When I got the Tesla, I was the Model Y. I was pretty excited about it, and then within a matter of time, I went from feeling like it was cool to feeling like it was like the. Well, it doesn't help that like at first all the conservatives hated my Tesla, and so I got used to that. And now the other side hates it. So I went from feeling like I had a cool car to feeling like I had the stupidest, most hated car in existence. So now I'm kind of like, if you're excited about a car, like wait 6 months and you'll hate it type of a thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I could
it's,
understand not wanting to get it all dented up if it's newer and all that jazz.
yeah, yeah, it's an
I've
issue.
driven the Model Y. It's pretty like usually that's what I get when I have to rent a car out in
Oh, nice,
California. I get one of those and they're definitely fun to drive. I don't think I would
nice.
ever own a Cybertruck. Someone at my kid's school has one and they call it the trash can truck.
Yeah, that's what they call it over here too. My son's into it. My daughters, they all make fun. They all call it a trash can truck. Me and my son, we're on the same team.
Team
Um,
Cybertruck.
yeah, yeah, we support each other um, in
It's
the
good to have a
household.
balance.
Yeah, yeah, balance out the feng shui.
Dude,
Um,
I don't know if like you wanted to build up to this or not, but I'm really interested by your app that you showed recently
oh,
on Twitter that like that block builder thing. So there's a thing like admin blocks. I feel like I was tangentially aware of them, but then you just kind of like did it. What is that?
we can't talk about this. I have a whole build up planned out.
Okay.
We're gonna crescendo. I
Register
have a
my
whole
interest.
I have a whole series, and then we're gonna crescendo at minute 33 into this.
Perfect.
No, so basically the admin block. Oh, so I have this B2B project I've been working on where the agency is putting together like an accelerator type of a thing. Basically want to like retool, like kind of productize some of the stuff we built and then try to use it for other clients and kind of like,
Interesting.
yeah, so which was like music to my ears because like I love to try to make things a little more productized versus like when
Hmm.
you're on a typical, crazy client deadline, you're just rushing, rushing, rushing and stuff. So as part of that, because like one of the issues is that like with the way we have customers assigned to companies with different roles and things like that,
Hmm.
there's a couple different like fields and like for example, there's a tag that is required and I can't even remember I think it's because you can't query customers on company as well as other filters. So I had to add a tag to the customer in addition to the company association. So like if somebody wants to go and move a customer from one company to another, there's like multiple steps they have to do. They have to change the company, they got to change the tag, and then there's similar issues with like meta fields too. Like there's a whole bunch of meta fields on the company, meta fields on products, variants on and stuff. And basically they're talking about, hey, like let's kind of make it a little more user friendly. So that's why I started working on the blocks. And I was like, typical developer fashion where it's like, instead of pass me the ketchup, it's like, let me build a, let me build a contraption so I built like a little drag and drop builder to generate the admin blocks so that we could make little arbitrary, like little admin blocks and basically plug in like different meta fields into the block. Like there's like a company approval status and there's like terms, which I know these things are all native, but for various reasons, we're not using the native fields for like
Yeah.
company terms and like things like that. But there's all these, so
Okay.
we're basically, there's all these fields. And so then the app basically lets you create little blocks where you can display the fields and then you can let them make an edit to a field and then like hook that into some custom functionality to do like other stuff. If there's additional thing, like if like a tag needs to be changed at the same time that, a company's change, you can kind of do that all together to kind of
Gotcha. So
make
this
it more
is
user
I
friendly.
guess the one thing I didn't like, one of the main things I didn't know is for these admin app blocks, you can edit data within them and save within like a
Yeah.
customer or a
Yeah.
company.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a little React jobby. So there's like form, you're limited to what React components you can use to the,
Hmm.
it's like checkout extensions or customer account extensions. It's a similar thing, but there's like a set of components you can use, but there's some form controls and then you can like post to the Shopify API from within there. So yeah, you can do edit
Interesting.
functionality and other stuff
So
like
this
that.
is a mix of different meta fields for, so you're in the company edit area in Shopify,
Yeah.
and based on that company, you can have an app block that displays underneath it that lets you edit things about the company or meta fields from other things like
Right.
customers and products.
Right. And
That's
then
pretty sweet.
and then you'll be able to do it on any page that supports blocks, so products, variants, because products typically end up with tons of meta fields. I mean, you might know a thing or two about this,
Hmm.
but you know, you end up with this whole mess of meta fields, and of course
Yeah.
it's hard to organize them. You can pin them, you can reorder them, but you kind of inevitably end up with this like disgusting list
Yes.
of
You can
fields.
only pen 20. You got to
Yeah,
choose very
yeah.
carefully.
Like I spend a lot of time going like, all right, let me pin this one, and then you're testing something and it's not pinned, and you're like, I gotta pin that. I don't want to click
Got to pin
seven
it.
times,
Who
so then
is
you
going
pin
to
it.
die from this list?
Yeah, yeah. And then a month later, you're like, why is that pinned? That doesn't make any sense to be pinned.
There are only
It's like
two
a,
products with this thing
yeah,
assigned.
yeah. It's like this nasty JSON field. I'm like, that shouldn't be pinned, but it's like, I'm not going to change it now. Yeah,
Sweet.
dude.
And then the
So,
second step is that you also made a thing that makes those things.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
So
the
it's like a
thing, like
little,
the
yeah,
block maker jobby, so you go in and you select like, okay, I want this to be a variant meta field that goes in here, and it should show up based on this certain context, like if it's a company or something like that.
yeah. So like the homepage has like build your company block, and you click into that, or build your product block or your variant block, and then once you're in the builder for a specific type of a block, then you can add in different things. You can add in like the way these React components works is like you have block stacks, inline stacks, sections. They're like flex layouts basically. So
Yeah,
so that's how you can add like little layouts, and then you can add in text fields, title fields, badges, images, and then you can populate them with like static text or pull from meta fields or pull from native fields, and then you can just build like little layouts.
that's cool. And
So
each block knows where it needs to send its like updated value to and all of that.
Yeah. So I have to build all that stuff out, like the edit functionality. It needs to know like what GraphQL it's going to post
Yeah,
to the different objects and stuff like that.
that's
So
cool. Yeah, that seems like
nice, dude.
have not seen something like that. Like there aren't apps that use admin app blocks really that I've seen
Yeah, I think
in that way at
it's
least.
right. Yeah, I mean it's like I think they're like kind of a newer integration piece and surface area, and I'm starting
Yeah.
to see apps use them. So had been wanting to mess around with them, and got a little retweet from Gil. That was exciting.
Heck
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I want to eventually figure out some kind of a public app.
Yeah.
It's like you keep putting things out there, you get a little traction, and then you try to see if you can actually get some stuff moving with them. So hopefully
Yeah,
something
that
will.
seems
But
like a new, like definitely interesting, like differentiating thing.
yeah, I guess so, man. Hopefully.
Can you put that block any, like, does it have to go at the very bottom under the meta fields, or can you like put it over on the side or something?
It does, yeah. There's just one slot where they go where you
Gotcha.
can add them, yeah, which is at the bottom. And then this is kind of weird. I haven't quite figured this out yet, but like, so the other thing it does is it limits the height, or like it gives you, like if the height of the content in there is bigger than like a certain amount, which is roughly like a square, like it doesn't want you to
Hmm.
have a bunch of content there, then it puts like a yellow border that says like this is too long and you have to click to expand it. So then I realized like you probably what you need to do is allow people to add multiple different blocks, but
Mm.
then there isn't like a concept of like instances of blocks. So I think that like if I want to allow somebody to have, let's say, two different blocks, like let's say on a product page, like the first one is going to have certain meta fields and then the other one's going to have certain other ones, then I
Hmm.
think I need to create two separate extensions and duplicate all the code because extensions can't share code between each other.
Ah, I
Um,
see.
and then let people define like, okay, define your product block number one and define your product block number two, and then you can add them in, type of a thing. That'll be fun to figure out.
The extension contains everything it needs to know about how it should look based on the configuration from your like layout builder.
Yeah, well, so the layout builder saves like JSON to a shop meta field, and then the extension pulls that JSON in from the shop meta
Ah,
field,
okay.
and then
Gotcha.
uses it to render the thing. Yeah,
That's cool.
um, which I
Like all
should probably change
self-contained within
those.
an extension.
Yeah. So I should probably change those to like app owned meta fields or something like that instead of a shop meta
Mm.
field at some point. Yeah, dude. You got
Sweet.
any use cases in mind?
I'm like honestly thinking about it right now.
Nice.
What could That's pretty
Nice.
sweet. That's gonna be one of those things that's like in my head, and now I'm gonna be looking for ways to
Nice.
need it.
Nice. All right. Well, so far this is the best feedback I've gotten from you so far in an app, so that's probably a good sign.
Heck yeah. Maybe I should give you
Yeah.
more positive feedback.
No. I mean, it's like it's the nature of the thing. It's like certain things are just less, like interesting, right? It's like, hey, I can do a NetSuite integration. It's like, okay, great. I don't need that. I already have one. I hate it, but it's there. I'm not going to change it.
Yeah.
Like, and then that's the thing is you want to kind of stumble upon the right thing that's like a little,
Yeah. It'd be cool to do like a, if there was a hackathon thing at the dev editions to like encourage everyone to make more app blocks because they're cool
yeah.
or
All right,
admin blocks.
I got to rant a little bit about this hackathon thing. So
Let's hear it.
the liquid dude, I'm just call him the liquid guy. Is it Ben something? The PM.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Ben the
he
PM.
posted. Yeah, he posted. He's like, let's have a hackathon at Editions for doing stuff on Liquid. And I'm like, why have a hackathon specific only to Liquid? Like, why not just have a hackathon? You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Ben
know.
doesn't want to share the fun.
Yeah, I know.
Liquid only.
I know, dude. What's up with that, man? We gotta open it up, man. So it's so arbitrary. It's a Shopify dev event. You know what I mean? It's like,
Who's the PM for apps? We need them to start a hackathon.
yeah, we need them to. It'd be funny if the PMs were like beefing with each other about stuff like that.
Whose hackathon is bigger?
Shopify people are so chill though. I can't even like imagine. I can't even imagine them like arguing with you. Plus, they probably have policies to never argue in public.
To never argue in the office.
Yeah, but I can't even imagine them like arguing with each other. But that'd be kind of hilarious.
I'm glad they all seem nice because I'm a little worried they wouldn't let us into the country anymore.
I know. That'd be.
But we're gonna make it. We'll
rough.
Be there.
Yeah, dude. Yep, we'll be there.
I bought a plane ticket. I only have one more thing to check off.
Yeah.
Just got to find my hotel situation, which will probably wait until the last minute anyway.
Nice. Do a little hotel tonight while you're.
That's right.
You're flying in. Nice, man.
I don't know if that improves rates or not. And honestly, I probably won't do that. That makes me a little too nervous.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I thought it did. I think Hotel Tonight probably does sometimes, but I don't think it always does. I think a lot of times.
Oh, that's like an app? Hotel Tonight?
Yeah, it's like for finding last minute hotels, but
I have baggage from when I was a kid and we drove all the way to Florida from St. Louis, Missouri. So it was like a 14-hour drive.
Yeah.
And I guess my dad thought we were just going to drive around and find a hotel, but it was to like wherever they did all of the spring break stuff, and it was spring break. So there was like nowhere. We were driving around until like 3 a.m.
That's hilarious because I'm that dad. I've done that like same type of thing, and like my wife is the planner. It drives her crazy. I'm like, we'll figure it out. We'll tell, you know. And then like things have gone bad like that for us before.
Because then you're driving around trying to find a place, and you need someone else to figure it out because you're driving. So
right. That's the other thing. I figure I'll just kind of do it, while I'm driving. And then like my wife starts looking it up on her phone, and then she's just like deep researching on her phone for like 2 hours, and I'm like, are we gonna like talk or anything? Like, you're just staring at your phone. It's like,
gotta find a hotel.
Yeah, that's so funny. Got to get it locked in, dude. So okay, I was looking at the Shopify platform fees because I had remembered hearing that like you can get charged for things outside of payment processing. And I was like telling this client like, hey, by the way, you might just want to look into this just because we import a lot of orders, like a lot of high priced orders that they're processing.
Are like placed directly somewhere else.
Yeah. They're placed in their ERP and things through sales reps and things like that.
Gotcha.
And I was like, I swear I've heard that they somehow charge you for these, but I searched it, couldn't find it. Posted about this. One dude replied back. He's like, yeah, they charge you a platform fee, which is like 0.18% or something like that on all order volume. And I was like, I found it. But it works out in such a way that the platform fee gets deducted from whatever your Shopify Plus fee is, like whatever the $2,000 a month or the $2,500 a month, it gets deducted from that. So you don't pay anything extra unless you go over the platform fee, and then you start paying extra.
Oh.
But then it turns out, which I haven't seen this matrix, somebody else told me, there's a whole matrix of which orders you get charged for and which orders you don't get charged for. And the only one you don't get charged for is if you import an order and it gets marked as paid automatically, which is my exact use case that I was worried about.
Heck yeah.
So
That
But
also
if
covers
you,
my use case. We just went
okay.
through and imported a ton
Yeah.
of orders, and I was like, "Can you tell me if I'm going to get charged more or
Yeah.
not?"
So like if you mark an order paid manually, then you're going to get charged for
I
that.
see.
And I
So,
think
like, you
the
might have fulfilled it manually in the back end, but
e-
if it's already paid, then
right,
okay.
right. Or like, maybe it was a phone order or something. I don't know. A check, what were those checks called? Money order. Maybe it's a
Money
money
order.
order or something. And I guess the idea is if you're using Shopify to mark the order as paid and handle the order,
Yeah, yeah.
then you're using a platform type of thing. I'm still a little bit worried because one person said the order has to be marked as paid like when it's imported. And now I'm worried, what if you mark it as paid after it's imported, like via the API? Is that handled differently? And I'm a little worried about that because it's not like I can look this up anywhere and know exactly what the rules
Hmm.
are. Or maybe maybe the way I did the API call, I did it in such a way that we're going to get charged for it or something. I don't know.
How long has this been going? Is it been over a month?
Yeah, it's been probably a few months now, but I don't know when they're going to see their bill or,
I feel like
I
you
have
would see
no
it right
idea.
away, like in the monthly. I mean,
Did
different
they give
agreements,
you
I
a
guess.
breakdown in the bill? Do they break that all down?
I think so, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I have like a monthly platform fee that I have to pay. Maybe at some point they do like no, it's because it's higher during like higher transaction months. So,
Really? Interesting.
so I feel like you
That's
would have
interesting.
known it already,
Yeah. So,
but
but
who
when you
knows?
look at your bill, do you see usage based stuff going into your platform fee?
It's not broken out like that as far
It's
as I
not broken out.
remember, but I know like during the holiday, our Shopify bill is higher.
And the platform fee specifically, or they don't even break that out.
I'll have to go check.
Look it up, dude. Look it up.
I'll look it up.
You might be getting charged. You might be getting charged.
Charged. We imported like orders all the way back to 2015. I was
Oh,
like,
right,
please
right,
no.
right, right. You're gonna get charged $5 million.
Yeah.
You're gonna put your whole company out of business because of the import you did.
At least the data is in there.
That's messed up, dude. Nice, nice. What have you been up to, man? I know you mentioned the NetSuite stuff.
NetSuite stuff. Been doing A/B testing. Talking to the creative team about figuring out how to make our site more luxurious, which is very, what's the word for like not well defined?
Yeah, ambiguous.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know, but I feel like we'll get somewhere and it'll be pretty sweet. Always got
Yeah,
to be doing something.
that's kind of funny. That's kind of an interesting question, actually. Like, how do you make a site more luxurious?
Yeah, feel luxurious. Who knows?
Maybe some
We'll find out.
gold-plated buttons.
There you
Buttons
go.
makes them
Everybody
look
always
good.
wants to put like confetti and like snow flying around and stuff, so maybe that'll do it.
Is everyone you?
Thankfully, it's like not the creative team who actually help us figure out these things.
You've been trying. You've been trying to pitch them on confetti for like 5 years. Like every time you're in a meeting and they talk about this, you like find a way to bring it up in like a different
Yeah.
way. And then they're like, "David, is this your confetti idea again?" And you're like, "Yeah." And they're
Listen, we launched our new feature, and there's all these settings, and there's this checkbox down here for confetti if you ever want that to be what happens.
you like mention like random like BuzzFeed articles. You like bring them in on a clipboard. I just I just saw this post with 12 reasons why you should add
You should
confetti
add confetti to your e-commerce website, your luxury e-commerce website.
That's so funny. Oh, nice, dude. Oh, I have a question for you. Do you get asked questions like you have to repeat the same thing again and like you would want to have like a knowledge base, like with an answer, like somebody asks, oh, how do I do this in Shopify for a XYZ case? And then
Mm,
instead of answering it manually, like it would be good to have like a knowledge base where you could point people to.
that would be interesting. The thing is, we already have a knowledge base. We have to point people to it.
Right.
But you're saying like an immediate like auto response to a question someone has, like
Maybe not even
through
auto response.
AI or something.
Well, no, I mean, just because I was having this issue with a client where they're asking, how do I change this thing? And I'm repeating the same thing. And I was like, man, I kind of wish I could create like a little knowledge base and then just send them a link to how to do X, Y, and Z. But like,
Yeah,
typically if you're doing client work, like within an agency, that doesn't really tend to happen. You just kind of
you
manually
just kind of
answer
answer them.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I feel
there
like there
was
needs to be a better.
I saw something interesting from the Regios discount app guy, Toby.
Hmm.
The way that he did SOPs for like his support team was to
Hmm.
record a video where he talked over doing the thing, and it
Hmm.
just generated like a nice wiki article from that. That would
Oh,
probably
that's cool.
help,
That's a
because
good
then you could just
idea.
like send them that link. But yeah, I mean that presupposes that you have a knowledge base somewhere. I definitely see the value in there being knowledge bases for like how like in ours we're using Atlassian Confluence, and we have like a Shopify how-tos section for things that
Okay.
people always forget.
Okay. Okay. Because we have Confluence too, and actually I had forgotten about that until just now because I don't know, we don't tend to use it that much with these. It's kind of like we put together a bunch of documentation for the project handoff, and then it's like I'm
Uh,
pretty sure nobody ever like looks at it.
yeah,
But I don't know, like, do you guys like do you use that? Like, do you keep it up to date and then have it set up in such a way that you can send like an easy link to like a specific thing versus like here's a big old document with 19 things on it and then nobody reads it.
yeah, yeah. And we used to, when I was in the agency world, we used to make Confluence. I forget what they're called, but like workspaces. So for each client would get one, and then we would
Hmm.
try and. I mean, the problem with that kind of knowledge base is it's never as up to date as you wish it was.
Right.
But like ours at Quiana could be a lot better, but it is still something where like we go back to things from 2018 and we can see that like, oh, like it helps, like even if it's
Nice.
just little stuff that's there, decisions or whatever. It's always fun. Like with this data project, I searched the wiki and I found a page called Data Dictionary, and I got really excited.
Hmm.
But when I got to it, it was completely empty. So I was like, guess I'll be the one making this then.
You're like, we have a data dictionary. That's awesome.
Yeah,
We had the idea for a data dictionary.
that's right. Someone said to someone else that we should have one, and that's how far we got.
Yeah. They fired up the dock and then they went to lunch. Be funny if you looked at the history on it. You're like, oh, I created this.
Yeah, that's definitely happened before.
Nice. All right. Well, I need to start using our Confluence then because
Yeah,
because I don't mind updating it. Like when I get asked the question in the first place, I'll just put it in there, respond with the link, and then boom.
yeah.
Then,
The other hard thing with those is like you have to make sure that whoever you're sending the link to actually has access to Confluence, which if
right,
they
right,
don't, then that makes it
right,
weird. And you like you
right,
could send them the PDF that's generated from the doc because it would still be helpful for you to have it. But
right.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's why like I feel like a nice lightweight tool that like for example, if you shared the deep link with someone, they could always view it no matter without logging
Mm,
in, without anything. To me, that's how it should work. If somebody has the link, then they can see it. I mean,
yeah,
whereas it just Confluence is just every time I have to go in there, it's a
Yeah, it's a
navigational
bit tedious.
train wreck. Yeah.
I
But
bet there's a good platform that lets you do a video recording of just doing the thing, and then it makes a doc that is always accessible.
yeah,
Like you should get some permalink or something like that.
yeah, that would be kind of
And
cool.
then if you send that link to someone, like I've found that when you record a video doing something, people think you put a lot more work into it than you
Right,
did. And
right,
but for you, like it just took you 5 minutes to go do this thing,
right.
and then you sent it off. Yeah,
And I did a couple of those with Loom where it generates an AI description of it. And it's kind of like they were like decent, but like not quite good enough to where
yeah,
I might just rather write it myself. But I'm sure those things have been getting better all the time. And I'm sure there's something out there that creates the document
yeah.
in just the right way, and which would be perfect.
There is probably one that like it was pre-trained or whatever on making a knowledge base type thing
Right.
as its output.
Right. This is going to go in the SaaS Hall of Shame. You know how SaaS companies will pressure you to sign a contract, right?
Yep,
Well,
hate it.
there's this one, I'm working with this client. This is affiliate tracking software, which these affiliate tracking softwares are out of control, man. I
Hmm.
mean, they're high on their own supply. They're just, it's a
Got to
weird
get those
space.
last click attributions.
And so they do a 48-hour trial period. And then there's no option for a monthly contract. An annual contract is the minimum that you could do
Oh,
after a
jeez.
48-hour free trial.
What is it doing?
It's like influencer management stuff. It's called Grin, and they do like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, which apparently, it's like a pretty, I mean, everybody seems to love it. And I mean, I guess it does magic, does wonders with getting influencers to do stuff. But it's like, I'm trying to figure out this integration, and it's like, I mean, I don't mind having a relatively, I mean, it makes 7 days feel like a luxury at this point. I mean, that feels like
Yeah.
that'd be a luxury
So you have
website if
48
I could.
hours to like integrate it and see if it helps.
Yeah. And it's like, and it's like they're describing how to do the thing that we need to do to integrate with our other click tracking. And I'm like, okay, well, like, let me pop into the account and double check where things are and test out the thing that, the way you're describing it, and we'll
Yeah.
be good, And it's like, okay, well, if you want, we can start the 48-hour trial. And I'm just
Oh,
like,
man.
holy crap,
Yeah, I always need to get in and just like let me poke around and figure out if this is
Yeah.
actually going to work
Yeah.
because otherwise it's just like I'm talking to salespeople and then I'm in a 1 year contract. I
Insane.
integrated with Gren when we were on Salesforce, and
Mm.
then like we actually just never ended up using it. It was kind of annoying to me because it was hard. It was
Oh,
like
really?
on Salesforce, it was like kind of annoying. I don't remember exactly why, but they have like gifting and stuff like that, right? Like you want to gift to certain
Yes.
influencers, and then they
Yeah.
can give their reviews and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
There's another one called ShopMy that we've been using recently that's pretty good. And integration was like they're still on the custom app side of things. Like they don't have their own thing published in the app store, but
Mm-hmm.
the way that they integrate's pretty good, and
Mm-hmm.
including like they have templates for a flow that you can set up to help reclassify orders that come in from ShopMy and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been pretty painless. I don't know if like they're
Nice.
already signed something with Grin or what, but it sounds like a similar thing.
I'm gonna have to shoot that over because they're like, yeah, we've looked at a bunch of the software, and they're like, if you know of one that you like, let us know. And I was like, I don't know, and I don't know any of this stuff. That's a good one. I'll have to
Yeah,
shoot that
ShopMy's
over.
pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, apparently Grin does like payouts and 1099s as well, and all sorts of stuff, which
Oh, maybe they're
seems
handling more of the whole
apparently they
influencer
handle,
arena.
yeah, apparently they handle a lot, which I was like, yeah, I could see how that would be useful.
Yeah, and expensive.
Um, yeah.
I
Oh
also have
yeah,
no
and that's the
idea
other
how
thing
much
too.
ShopMy
It's
costs. That was a marketing team special. So
okay. Marketing team special.
Sometimes
Nice.
I just get emails and it's like, hey, we need to do this thing. And I just got to figure it out, you know?
Yeah. Get in there and get her done.
That's right.
I saw this tweet. It was talking about developers are basically high paid farmers, and the combine harvester has been invented with AI, and they're all going to be out of a job soon. Here's this VC guy.
Who's driving the combine harvester, bro?
Yeah. But it got me thinking. It got me thinking about when is it exactly that technology like takes the jobs away versus transforming the jobs type of thing. And in the case of the individual, I don't know how much combine harvesters cost, but I think they were expensive, right? So I think that basically the farmers couldn't afford the combine harvesters. So then the big companies that could afford the combine harvesters, it took all the farming, right? But what about if you look at when the personal computer came out, and then what about accountants? Okay, I'm sure they thought like, oh, nobody's going to need an accountant anymore, but he has their own computer. But there's tons of accountants because the accountants can afford the accounting software, and then we just pay them because they make it easier, whatever. So I was thinking, or
Well,
also
before there were spreadsheets, there were like complete floors of buildings filled with people who were just doing calculations.
right, right.
So so accounting just became something different where like, I don't know, maybe the manager from the floor of the accounting firm that had all the people at the desks is like what accountants are now. I don't know.
See, I don't know if it was the manager who became the accountant or the individual counters that became the accountants because, like, if you look at the number of farmers, that's gone down. But if you look at the number of
Hmm.
accountants, I'm pretty sure, even if you go back and compare to the whole building full of manual counters, I think that number has increased a lot. I think the manual
Because more
counters,
people were able to do that versus like it just being available to large companies,
yeah, yeah,
maybe.
yeah, yeah. Like, I think if the technology is so expensive that it can only be afforded by a large company, then it kills someone's jobs. But if the technology can be afforded by the individuals, then it empowers the individuals. Like, the type of person that can sit and count numbers, pen and paper, for 8 hours a day is probably the same type of person that can be a computer accountant. You know, like it's
Yeah.
different, but it takes a level of concentration. I mean, to do that. Or like, for example, when the smartphone came out, you might have thought all the photographers were going to be out of a job. But there's like, and I'm kind of making these numbers up, but I'm pretty sure there's like more photographers now. like,
Pretty sure.
like,
I
like
mean,
there's
everybody's a photographer because they have a phone.
but like even professional photographers, there's a ton of them. Like now everybody gets family photos every year and everybody gets like super fancy wedding photos. And then there's videographers and on
Mm.
top of photographers. And there's this whole prosumer category of cameras, so because the individuals can afford the expensive cameras, and then like people don't want the quality of a regular, like all of a sudden the quality of a regular phone camera isn't that interesting. You're going to go ahead and pay for the quality of a $5,000 lens. And so
Yeah.
that's what everybody
I feel like there's
does.
a couple transitions that happened in the camera thing because like there used to be professional photography that you would get at like Sears and they'd have all the big cameras set up.
Right.
And so that's where you would do your professional pictures. Otherwise, everyone just had like a disposable or whatever. But
Right.
with the cost of cameras going down and the size of them going down enough that everyone has a camera in their pocket, there's this next phase. Like, okay, so Sears professional cameras went away, but then because it's cheap enough, people who are interested in photography, or more people who are interested in photography get into it and they make themselves available for like those weekend photo shoots. So then
Right.
it ends
Right.
up that you actually do get more of them.
Right. And I think the same thing's happening with AI. It's like there's more people who are able to get into coding with
Hmm.
AI, and then people who are already coders are able to do more with AI. And I think it's just going to I think it's just going to grow the category. And also, it made me realize like I'm kind of grateful the way that AI is playing out, where it is affordable to the
Hmm.
individuals. because that didn't necessarily have to be the case. I mean, like, if the companies that are spending billions of dollars just sold this technology for $100,000 a pop to big players, like it could have gone that way,
Yeah.
but it's gone. The foundational model costs are becoming commodities, and then people are building apps on top of those. It's kind of awesome that it worked out that way, because I think if it didn't, then yeah, we would have been screwed. Like if it cost $100,000 to use these things, which that's not even that crazy that it would cost that much, because it costs way more than that to create these models.
It also costs, like, it actually does cost a lot to run them, but I don't know, is OpenAI like running at a loss, or are they making money? I have no idea.
I, I don't know what their margins are, but they're definitely like, I think it's easy to hate on them, but it's like they made a choice at some point to make it affordable to
Yeah,
individuals.
it definitely made it into a race, like more of a race for sure.
Yeah, because before that, like Google had all of this technology and they weren't putting it out there to the individual. They were using it in search. They were like, and then all of a sudden OpenAI comes out, and then like, I don't know, a couple weeks later, Google launches their stuff. Like, oh yeah, we have this too.
Yeah.
And like, and I think
Well,
people like
Google's the one that
invested.
invented the transformer architecture, and then OpenAI used that, and then I guess Google was like, "Oh shit, that was our thing. We
Oh,
we gotta
okay.
go, we gotta go put that into production."
Wow. Okay. That makes sense. But yeah, it like sort of kicked off this race in a certain direction. And maybe it was inevitable for that to happen. I don't know, for the technology to be like consumer level. I don't know if it was inevitable for that to happen or not. But the fact that it is I think what is making it so that it's not going to kill the jobs, it's going to empower the jobs. I think it might be as simple as that, as to when, like, I'm trying to think of examples, like, as to when does technology kill jobs versus like explode the job category. And I think it's as simple as if the individuals can afford it or not.
Hmm.
And
Has there
I'm
been
trying to
a
think of like a counter example.
Yeah? What is a new technology that was not affordable that ended up killing jobs?
Maybe like manufacturing automation, like big ass manufacturing robots probably kill the individual manufacturing jobs.
But it's always like a transformation. It's never like, if you liked building cars before robots existed, you could probably still keep building cars with the help of a robot, but you adjust where it is that your work is.
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense. But like, you still think about the same things. Like, you still want to make a car, but it's just the way that you make it changes a bit.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that jobs probably don't get destroyed. It's more like what a job is changes a bit. And it
Yeah.
also probably happens slowly enough that usually you can adapt. And like, I feel like a lot of people are already adapting to this new way of programming, and it just makes them faster. Like, I feel like we get things done faster, and it's the same things that we're doing though.
Yeah. I feel like on the whole that happens, but there definitely is like a difference between the farmer and the photographer. There's sort of a qualitative difference in like the number of jobs, the degree to which that quote job was killed. I'm trying to kind of figure out what, and at the end of the day, it's like there's kind of no point like trying to figure this stuff out.
Yeah,
Like it's gonna go the way it's
history
gonna
doesn't
go.
always repeat itself. It could go differently.
Yeah, but that tweet just bugged the shit out of me, and then I was like, I'm gonna figure out how to tell this guy he's wrong. But it did get me thinking about why is it not like the farmer thing, and I think it does have a lot to do with the cost of the technology.
Yeah, you might be right there. I mean, I kind of smile or just like maybe roll my eyes every time I see like, oh yeah, this thing just one shot at this video game. Programming is dead. But there's no programmer that's like sad. Like, all the programmers are using it, so like, we
Right,
just have more stuff now, like more cool stuff.
right,
I think that's an interesting impact. Like,
right, right.
those things didn't exist before this thing, and it was because it was too time consuming to do this stuff, and like, now it's not. So it's weird. It seems like it does cheapen the skill a bit, but no second order effects yet. It's just like more people are making cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's how it's going to play out.
Which is great. I hate experiencing bad software. I'm excited to like for these things to continue to refine and I get to experience more good software
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
life in general. Like why does my TV software suck so bad still? Just
Right.
let
Right.
an AI rewrite all of this.
Right. Speaking of cool software, dude. So you know ShopifyQL, the reporting query language.
Yeah.
So I was looking at something because somebody was asking about trying to pull some data out of the
Numbers.
Shopify APIs. Yeah, pull
Yeah.
those. They say pull out the numbers, and we're gonna break your legs. Um, if you can't pull those numbers out, we're gonna send you a message. We want to see CLV stat.
What?
We want to see.
Give me your AOV before I break your neck.
Yeah. So, but then so that I looked at the API docs and they're sunsetting the Shopify QL API, which
What?
makes I mean, and I think that was announced a long time ago. I mean, I remember seeing it in the docs, but it just didn't bother me that much until recently, which doesn't make any sense to me because for one thing, okay, Shopify QL used to be plus only, right? I distinctly
I don't know. I
remember.
thought it was a new thing. Like I just now started seeing it in my reporting area in Shopify.
Right, because what happened is ShopifyQL used to be an app that was plus only, and they took that and they brought it into the reporting so
Oh,
that
okay.
now everybody has access to it, and it's like integrated more nicely into the reports. So, I mean, they've taken this thing that was plus only and they've brought it to everyone, which, I mean, the costs around ShopifyQL have to be all the data indexing that they have to do, and if anything, I'd imagine that's why it was plus only for a while. Now it isn't. And so, I mean, they obviously want to have increased usage of it. In the API docs, when it says this is sunset, if you want to pull data out, see the orders query endpoint. In other words, if you want to query order reporting data, you got to slurp all the orders out and do the reporting yourself.
Oh, sheesh, y'all.
So it's not like they're saving on API bandwidth. I mean, because if
Yeah.
anybody wants to do anything, they're going to be blowing the orders endpoint up to get data out, you know? So,
Well, I
like,
guess
I don't really.
that's a separately optimized endpoint than like have you tried using the Shopify QL in the admin? It's pretty limited to like what you can do.
Yeah, a little bit.
So,
I've used it a little bit. It has like specific columns that you can pull and like
yeah.
different things.
Like I mean maybe I just ran into a weird edge case, but I was trying to query like orders that had a particular discount code used, and
Hmm.
you can do that in the order list, but you can't do it in Shopify QL in the
Hmm.
reporting area. So I imagine they made some decisions on what's available there based on like making sure it doesn't overwhelm their systems
Right,
or
right,
require a
right,
bunch of indexes or something.
right. But I'm just saying, like, whatever functionality already exists and the API already exists to just pass through a query, and everything has to be indexed already. So passing through query isn't much trouble. I even posted a question to the forums because I'm like, what's the rationale behind removing this? Like, it just
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense to me.
Did anyone
So,
say anything?
no, I haven't gotten any answer. The forums,
Where are
man,
the PMs?
forums responsiveness has been a little hit and miss lately, man.
Oh, really?
Little
It's not
hit
as
and
exciting
miss.
anymore.
Yeah, it's not new. Liam's not on top of every answer anymore like he used to be. I
Where
mean,
you at, Liam?
I think
You're
Liam was
cool though.
running around the offices just making sure
I
people
bet
answered
Liam
questions.
is. I bet now he's like real busy with the Shopify Developer Conference.
Oh yeah, it probably is. Probably is. I mean, he got it off the ground. I don't know if it was him, I think it was his thing, but I mean, he got the
Oh
sucker
yeah,
off the ground. I'm sure that took internal like coordination and stuff like that. So that
definitely.
was really the hard, and then getting it bootstrapped to where people were using it. So that was like the hard part that he did, which was like the important thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe it was just a stupid
I
question.
tested out this app. Speaking of reporting, it's called Better Reports.
Hmm.
Shopify Better Reports, something like
Yeah.
that. And it's pretty interesting. It takes a while to like pull all of your data and index it, and then they give you some interesting different views into all of your data.
Right. Right.
Um, but it doesn't do like we use the retail 454 calendar. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It's every month is exactly 4 weeks, and then our fiscal start of the year is in February.
Mm.
So each period is only 4 weeks. There are 12 periods in a week, unless or 12 periods in a year, unless you have an extra week in a year. And this, so like, there's all these like 53 weeks. Weeks start on Monday, and March 1st might not actually be the second period of the year because you're still in the last week of the previous month because February only has 28 days. Like weird, like okay, so there's all this weird stuff,
Right.
and we have to like build that into our reporting, and that's the thing that Better Reports seemed like couldn't handle. But like, I'll give them that. Otherwise, it's pretty interesting, and they have like a 7-day free trial. So
Right.
if someone is looking for some reporting for one of your clients, that might be an interesting shot.
Oh, nice. Nice. Check that out. The Better Reporting app doesn't quite support that crazy calendar situation.
No, but it's got a bunch of like out of the box reports that are pretty cool. And I bet
Mm,
would I decided to pay for it for a month because I'm still not ready to like decide if it's something we won't be able to use. And
nice.
it depends on your Shopify tier for how much you pay them. So like we're on Plus, and so we pay them the most. But if you're on like a starter plan, it's pretty cheap.
Right. Nice. Could you describe that calendar thing to me again?
I think the place that this thing came from is like comparing your sales month over month is hard because every month has a different number of days.
Oh, right, right.
And so you define a month as being exactly 4 weeks. And because of that, the calendar month does not always match up the fiscal period month. So
Oh,
like
okay.
a year would still have like years have 12 months. In this setup, years still have 12 periods, but each period start and end might be like instead of being March 1st, it would be like March 2nd. So there's weird
Mm,
stuff there. And
that's weird.
then another level of weirdness is we decided that our weeks start on Monday. So
Mm,
there's two things that we have to layer on top of all of the orders based on the transaction date in order for them to go
wow.
into these buckets.
That's
And
insane.
last year was a leap year, and so instead of having 52 weeks, it actually had 53. And
Okay.
I'm still battling that monster.
Dude, wait.
It still comes up
So,
sometimes. Someone's like, my report doesn't match their report, and it's
oh
because
my
of the
God.
damn extra week.
Right. So, do you have an existing system somewhere that generates reports on this crazy ass
Yeah,
timetable?
there's helper tables in BigQuery that you have to join on,
Oh,
and
wow.
it just has like every day of the year back to like 2015 or something, and different classifications for
Right.
what each day is, and then you
Right.
join on based on the transaction date to get your periods and all that stuff.
Dude,
Good
this
times.
this sounds like the type of thing you'd see in like a computer science class. It'd be like, write the following report, and you'd be like, no one is ever
So,
going to use
someone
this.
has weird financial requirements, and
Yeah.
they require you.
Yeah. By the way, did you major in what, computer science, or
I
what did
did.
you?
I
Oh,
started in
nice.
chemistry though, and then
Oh, really?
I was doing not a great job in college, as you do as a first year student. And I was like,
It's
chemistry is
disappointing,
interesting, but
David.
I feel like I would do better with computer science. And I I made it through.
I just completely visualized you like a chemistry person, just like
Yeah.
a chill lab guy, like in the lab
Yeah.
doing stuff.
That was the boring part to me too, which is how I knew because I was like, okay, this experiment is cool, but now I have to write everything down in this notebook. That's so boring. I just want
Right.
to like do something else now. But it was pretty cool doing like calculations of how much energy would be expended in a bomb calorimeter if you like mix these two things together. It was weird. And
Calculating
yeah,
moles and shit.
I'm happy to be talking to computers instead now.
Nice. Yeah, chemistry was tough for me. That might have been one of the hardest subjects for me. And I never did like OChem or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Um,
hard.
yeah,
The
nice.
periodic table is so cool though. I still think it's cool.
Really? That's cool.
They make like a period like a real periodic table where it's got a little bit of each element, and sometimes you can find those in a museum. But they make little, like smaller size ones. I have to find one and acquire it.
Right.
Get a little
Did
plutonium in my office.
Have you ever seen any of these people talking about aliens and like the chemical that was discovered? Um,
What? No.
God, I'm
I
doing
always see
such
alien
a bad.
stuff because I feel like Twitter's algorithm got changed and I just see a bunch of different stuff now. But I'm okay with seeing the alien stuff, to be honest.
Okay, this guy Bob Lazar. You ever hear about this guy?
Yep.
You did. The
Yeah,
Area
yeah. That's
51 guy.
oh, okay. No, I was thinking of someone else.
Oh, okay. Um,
I don't know who that is.
he came out, I don't know, dude, like 20, 30 years ago saying that they were hiding aliens in Area 51 or Area 54. I don't know. He has a 4 hour episode on Joe Rogan about it. But, anyways, one of the things that he talked about was this new element called Element 115. And I guess he mentioned this initially like 30 years ago. And then at the time he mentioned all this, people thought he was crazy, whatever. He stuck to his story for years. And then at some point, the Element 115 was like officially recognized or whatever. Like,
Yeah, I see it.
yeah,
Moscovium.
yeah. I was just curious if you had like seen that since you mentioned the periodic table.
No, but now I have to read about this thing. What did he say? Like the aliens brought it or something?
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. It was, yeah, it was discovered by them or it was a key component. And because he was back engineering, like his story was that they found like the spacecraft crashed and his job was to back engineer all this stuff. So he
Interesting.
went in there and there was a whole team of different, and it was all compartmentalized, different engineers and working on different things. And so he's like, yeah, he's like, I went into the actual spacecraft. He's like, there's no seams anywhere in the spacecraft, like in the way it was engineered. There was no seams, like it was all one like thing, and that like it's crazy, it's nutty. Yeah,
Interesting, man.
we're on a
Do you think the aliens came from another planet or they're from underwater?
dude. The underwater thing is nuts. When I first heard that recently, I had never considered that,
Me either.
and now that's all I imagine is just underground civilizations of aliens, dude, off the coast of Mexico. Like
Just watching
that's
us from down deep,
yeah, dude. That's so
shaking their
crazy.
heads.
It's so crazy to think about that.
It's weird though. Like, why would it be such a secretive thing?
Yeah, the whole thing makes no sense. I mean, obviously they're wanting to keep it somewhat secretive, or else they would just, you know, walk up to the White House or something like that. And then our military, I could see how they would want to keep things secret. You know, they discover a
Yeah,
spacecraft, they're like, we can't talk about this.
that's
But
why I always feel like it's like their military craft or something. I don't know, and no
yeah,
one wants to talk about it.
yeah,
But it would be cool for someone to come and like give us some new technology. Like, I want some cool anti-grav boots or something. That'd be pretty sweet.
right.
Like, come teach us about gravity.
Show title. Some cool anti-grav boots. Oh, nice, dude.
Did you see the thing about the open space underneath the pyramids? That could be our
No.
aliens, because like there's always weird alien stuff about the Egyptian figures that you always see in the hieroglyphs. Like everyone
Right,
always talks about those being aliens. And
right,
now they're
right.
saying there's this big open space underneath the pyramids, so maybe that's where we find the anti-grav boots.
Right, right. Somebody needs to go check that out, dude. Send me a pair
Yeah.
of those
Somebody
boots.
get down there. Send me the blueprints.
Yeah. All right. Quick couple quick hits. Got to mention Shopify did an MCP model context
Oh
something
yeah.
that you
I'm still
plug
not totally sure what
into.
that is, but I want to go look at it.
I tried installing it in Cursor. I think it basically it lets your AI agent look up GraphQL docs directly to Shopify so that it does better GraphQL queries and stuff.
Yeah,
I
that's
tried and
about as much as
yeah,
I know about it, but like
yeah,
I want to go look at it and understand
yeah.
how does this actually help an AI? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It's an npm command is like what you configure in Cursor, and I'm like, I don't even know what that
Hmm.
does. But yeah, I tried installing it, and I don't know if it worked because it didn't like give a confirmation, and my GraphQL queries didn't really look any better. Actually, I'm pretty sure it didn't because I think when it does work, it says okay, calling MCP tool whenever it's making a call out.
Yeah,
So I
I
must have
saw that
screwed
in the
something up.
preview, like the video preview.
Yeah,
You'll have
but
to tell me if
that's
if you
awesome.
figure it out. I want to know. Like, okay, it makes things way better. How is it doing that?
Yeah, I mean it has to. I got to get that sucker working, which is cool that they got that going. And and I just saw a tweet. Aaron from ShopPad, my old boss at ShopPad Mesa, they're working on an MCP that
Nice.
he posted a little screenshot of like you're in Claude and you say send me reports from Shopify for January 2024 and it hits their MCP and generates a PDF and emails it to you or something like that,
That's cool.
which is kind of cool. And I don't know how these MCPs work, but I'm guessing that you can charge for them because if you can charge for them, then like you can build. That'd be awesome because then you can build some cool stuff out like that.
Oh, like a
And
custom MCP on top of Shopify that you have defined like
I think that's what he's
things that
doing.
will just
Yeah,
work.
I think that's
Sweet.
what he's doing. Yeah, so that'd be cool. I kind of
That
feel like
that area, like flow work in general, is one of the things that's going to be really interestingly changed by AI.
yeah, yeah. Like I feel like if you're building a developer tool now, the interface has to be through the AI agent, and which then I think you got to do an MCP because if you build a developer tool and it's like a website I got to go to and click around and do stuff, I just feel like it's got to be
Can't
tied
my agent do
into
this?
yeah, yeah. I think
Can't I do
that's
this from VS Code or whatever in
yeah,
Cursor?
I think that's the move. And then last thing, I haven't checked this out yet, but there's a Shopify app dev. So if you're doing Shopify app dev on an app, there's a new option where it runs in localhost versus what it currently does is it uses a Cloudflare tunnel, has some Cloudflare magic, which is
Oh
great,
yeah,
but
that's
it's
nice.
I guess the local host is faster because it's not having to do the tunnel, which is cool. So I haven't checked that out yet, but I gotta check that out.
Yeah, I always thought that tunneling was weird. I mean, it worked, but
Yeah.
um, no, that's a great improvement.
I mean, I always thought it was this completely necessary black magic that just worked. So I was like always very like
Whatever.
happy about it. And then now it's like we don't
Yeah.
need it. I'm like, good riddance to that
How'd you do
garbage.
that?
Yeah.
Never liked it anyway.
Always hated that.